Serial killer Ted Bundy's accomplice, the Deadly VW Beetle. Ted Bundy's car, a Volkswagen Beetle, was used by the serial killer in his murders, making it an accomplice to his crimes and eventually leading to his execution. In August 1975, Ted Bundy was pulled over by Utah police. During the search, officers found the front passenger seat removed, leading to more disturbing discoveries inside the car. The Volkswagen Beetle played a crucial role in Bundy's crimes, used to transport his unconscious victims to remote locations where they were murdered and buried. It also carried the tools he used in his killings. Bundy bought his first car, a tan Volkswagen Beetle, in 1969. It was popular in the U.S. and became his primary mode of transport during his crime spree from 1974 to 1975. Bundy's Volkswagen Beetle was used for personal trips, including outings with his girlfriend Elizabeth Klopfer and her daughter, as well as for his work at various organizations in Washington and Utah. In 1972, Bundy had an affair with Sandy Gwynn and took her on drives through hills behind Lake Sammamish State Park, where he later abducted 2 women in broad daylight. Bundy made several modifications to the Beetle to suit his murderous requirements, including removing the front passenger seat to conceal his unconscious victims. The car was instrumental in the various phases of his crimes, from searching for victims to disposing of their bodies. He used it to approach lone women, abduct them, and transport them to their final resting places. Despite being a cash-strapped student, Bundy clocked hundreds of miles each week, often driving across state lines in search of victims. Bundy pretended to be handicapped to lure his victims, wearing a plaster cast on his arm or leg. He would then attack them with a concealed tire iron before abducting them. After knocking his victims unconscious, Bundy would bundle them into the footwell of the passenger side, where he had removed the seat, and drive away with them hidden from view. Bundy's car was used to transport victims to burial sites like Taylor Mountain, where they were raped, murdered, and buried. On July 14, 1974, Bundy, off sick from work, went to Lake Sammamish Park, where he had been seen a week earlier. That day, he abducted and murdered 2 women, Janice Ott and Denise Naslund. Witnesses saw Bundy talking to several women at Lake Sammamish Park. He approached Janice Ott, who was last seen walking away with him, and later Denise Naslund, who he accosted near the restrooms. Photographs from that day show several Volkswagen Beetles in the parking lot, one of which is speculated to be Bundy's car, used to transport the bodies of Ott and Naslund. Upon his return to work, co-workers joked about Bundy's resemblance to the suspect's sketches and his ownership of a Volkswagen. In August 1974, Bundy's girlfriend Liz found a hatchet under the seat of his car, raising her suspicions about him. An eyewitness later saw a Volkswagen like Bundy's near Taylor Mountain on the night Susan Rancourt vanished. Bundy moved to Utah in September 1974, and soon after, the remains of his victims were found at Taylor Mountain. In Utah, several young women started to go missing. Bundy speculated that the killer of Nancy Wilcox, who went missing on October 2, 1974, had initially intended only to rape her, but ended up murdering her after parking his Volkswagen nearby. Bundy described throttling Wilcox into unconsciousness, raping her, and then hiding her body. He later retrieved her body, engaged in necrophilic acts, and dumped her in an isolated area. 9 days after Wilcox's murder, Bundy offered a ride to Rhonda Stapley, a University of Utah student, and assaulted her. Stapley managed to escape and later recounted her harrowing experience. Laura Aim, a 17-year-old, vanished after leaving a Halloween party on October 31, 1974. Bundy speculated that she accepted a ride in his Volkswagen and was never seen again. Carol Durange, approached by Bundy, posing as a police officer in November 1974, became the first of Bundy's intended victims to escape from his Volkswagen Beetle. Durange initially agreed to accompany Bundy, who claimed to be Officer Roseland, but grew suspicious and eventually fought off his attempts to handcuff her, managing to escape. An older couple found Durange and took her to the hospital. She later testified against Bundy, leading to his conviction for her kidnapping and a prison sentence of 1 to 15 years. In August 1975, Bundy's car was spotted by a patrolman in Utah. When Bundy saw the police lights, he turned off his own lights and sped away, leading to a chase. Bundy was eventually stopped at a gas station, where the officer checked his license. This traffic stop led to his arrest and the beginning of his downfall.